Welcome to How to Become a Production SQL Database Administrator. My name is Raphael. In the previous video, we looked at the temp database and how we can move the data files and the log files to a different location. Well, the question now is, can we do that same thing for the user-defined databases? And the answer is yes. And the way we do that, or one of the ways we do that, is by detaching and attaching the database files. So let's get into that right now. So what is detaching and attaching a database? It's the process of moving the data and the log files to another drive or to another entirely different server, and we do that primarily for performance reasons or disk capacity issues. How to use the detach and attach database. And again, at times there may be a need to move a database to another physical drive or a physical server, and if so, we can use the sprocs to detach the database and attach it to another server, or we can use the GUI, and I'll be demonstrating both right now. So let's go to our database. And the database that I'm going to be using for this demonstration is sales. And one thing I'll note is if I go right-click, Properties, go to Files, you'll see that the path where the data file and the log file reside is the following path here. And obviously this is the default right up to the data field. And if I open that directory, you can actually clearly see it. And there it is. So there's the data file and there's the log file in that directory. What I want to do is use the attach, detach option using the GUI, and I want to take those two files and move it to this location called new location. So this is what the purpose of the video is. And obviously you can imagine the new location folder being a different physical drive so that we can improve performance. But for our demonstration reasons, we'll just use this, the C drive. So the purpose is we're going to take this and move it to here. And let's do that. Back to our SQL Server. So now that we know where the original location of the file is, how do we move it? And the first thing we have to do is make it into a single mode. And what do I mean by that? If you right-click the sales database, go to Properties, go to Options, scroll down, you'll notice that in the state, the restricted access, there's three options. There's multi-user, which means everyone can access this database. If I double-click it, there's single user, then this restricted user. What we want to do is make it into a single user mode. This way, when we place in a single mode, we can detach it. Otherwise, it will not detach. So go OK. As soon as we go that, you'll see this. Say yes. And now you'll see the little icon here where it says single mode. The next thing we want to do is go right-click, Task, and now we're going to detach it. So as soon as we detach it, this window pops up. We want to drop the connection, and we want to update the statistics and go OK. As soon as we do that, it's detached. Now you'll notice obviously here in the directory, the sales database has gone. However, if you look at the data file itself, where the database resides in this directory, they are still there. So what we now have to do is copy both the data file and the transaction log file. Right-click, cut, and I'm going to go to the new location and paste. And they're there. So they are no longer here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the database. And to do that, you go to the databases, right-click, attach. The attach window database will pop up. Go add. And now we find the location. Obviously, it's in the new location folder, directory right there. Click on this MDF file. Go OK. And then go OK. And now you'll see that the sales database has been reattached to this. And if I right-click, go to Properties, go to Files, you'll note now that is indeed the SQL data file, the log file has been moved to a new location, which is the new location. So that's how you physically move a database using a GUI. We can do that same thing if we wanted to do it with the sprocs or the scripts. So let me look at and this will again be provided for you. So the first thing, as I said, the first thing I want to do is the following script will detach and then reattach the sales database. The first thing I want to do is find the path of the database, and you use the command sp help database followed by the database name. So if I highlight this and execute, there's the database, and as you can see right now it's in the new location. The next thing I want to do is make it into a single user mode, and this is the command that does that. Use master go, alter database followed by the database name, and then the command is set single user with rollback immediate. And if I execute that, and if I refresh this, you'll see that it is indeed in single mode. And now I'm going to detach the database. So I'm going to say execute this sproc, sp detach followed by the database name. So I'm going to highlight this, execute, and you'll get this as statistical updates, and that's fine. And now if I go to the databases and refresh, again you'll see it's disappeared from the list here. But if I go to the initial directory, it still exists there. So now if I'm going to do is I'm going to reattach the database using the for-attach command. One thing it says, note we do not use the deprecated sp attach. Initially we had sp attach database. In this case I am not using it. We use instead what's called the for-attach. And you'll notice it here, it's right here. So the new command that we use is create database sales on followed by where the directory is. And obviously here we're going to look at, we want to follow the path. So if I execute this, you'll notice we get an error because it cannot find the file. So what we have to do is go back here, copy that, cut, and I'm just going to dump it back here because this is where I want it to reside. And now if I run this, you'll see that it's successful. And if I highlight this, there it is. And now I can look at the sp help database sales and see that it's been restored to the original data file. So that's how you move a database from one drive to another, or obviously if we had a separate instance here, we can do that also. A couple other things to note here is the following here, and this is important, but we'll discuss that in another video. And that is that when you're moving a database using the detach and attach option, you will lose the users in the original database after the completion of the move to a new server. So if I migrated the data, if I migrated the database from one server to another, those users that were with the original database will be lost, and I have to use this sproc to update the logins. But again, I'll be discussing that in another video. So I think I'll leave it there. And now you know how to attach and detach a database from one drive to another. And I think I'll leave it there. And this is Raphael and how to become a production SQL database administrator. See you in the next video.